Right, we're finally at the last video of the year, and I really want to thank you guys who have been actually watching my videos as well. I'm starting to see a little bit more traction towards the end of the year, and of course because of all the support from you guys. But of course, if this is the first video that you've watched from me, please subscribe down below. I actually upload every Wednesday and every Saturday. I give you guys news, give you guys financial updates on the markets in general. Okay, but anyway, since this is the last video of the year, I kind of want to do a little bit of like a top 10. Okay, and of course, this top 10 is curated by myself. Opinions is only on my own, with my own opinions and such. But I do want to say that the consideration will, of course, in the order of magnitude of the actual event itself and how much it actually affected the markets and investors. Okay, so without further ado, I don't want to make this up for too long. Okay, so let's start with our number 10. Okay, with our number 10, we got NFT slash metaverse hype. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that we all know about NFT craziness that happened in 2022. Metaverse was one of the biggest buzzwords that you actually probably heard in 2022. Not only just celebrities getting into NFTs, you do not just see celebrities buying Bored Apes, buying into crypto kitties and such. People were getting into NFT at an all-time high, be it retail investor, even for myself as well. I got into NFT, I sold NFT, I managed to make a little bit of money, but pretty good. But of course, the hype actually went throughout, and of course, as I've warned on this channel multiple times, it was a bubble. So of course, the bubble had to pop, and right now the NFT and metaverse hype in general is now on a trend to the all-time low. Okay. The worst part about this NFT and metaverse hype is to the point where even big companies are actually getting into it. Even Facebook, okay, previously known as Facebook, now known as the Meta platform, started to invest billions of dollars every single month into R&D to actually create a metaverse. Okay, we do not know if we're going to be seeing a metaverse in 2023. I highly doubt it. But of course, for us to actually properly adapt a metaverse, or actually get into a proper metaverse where people are actually using the metaverse a lot, I would imagine that to be 10-20 years down the road. I don't see it happening in the 2020 region. Okay, number 9. Okay, would be a surprise to some of y'all, which is the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, increasing their interest rates. This actually happened last month. And of course, for people who are unaware why the BOJ increasing their interest rates would be that big of an issue, why it would actually land in my top 10, of course, it's because BOJ have always historically have very, very low interest rates to the point where it doesn't make sense for them to invest in their own economy. Okay, Japanese yen in general has always been pretty bad. It's kind of bad for you to invest in their own country, their own companies and such, which is why Japan has historically invested a lot of money outside of their country, in Asian countries, in the United States market, and also in the Europe market as well. And historically, Bank of Japan actually hold up to, I think, the top 3 or top 4 investing position in terms of all the global investment firms and such. So for them to actually increase rates, this is actually creating somewhat of a motivation for them to actually bring the money back into Japan to start to invest in their own economy and actually try to improve their own country instead of helping other countries or other continents improve. Okay, so BOJ increasing their interest rate is definitely something that we weren't exactly expecting, but ultimately it did happen, and that's definitely going to be taking away money supply from the other markets that we are usually investing in. So yeah. Alright, number 8. Let's talk about supply chain. Okay, I'm pretty sure that 2022, you probably heard about supply chain like 20 million times or so. Even on this channel, you probably heard it like 1 million times. Okay, supply chain was horrible. Okay, it doesn't matter about logistical prices, label prices, material prices, freight ship cost prices. All these were all prices that are part of the supply chain. Okay, earlier in the first half of the year, we saw a lot of supply chain, incredible supply chain issues, especially towards the chip sector. Okay, that was the reason why you saw, cars, you saw electronics, you saw technology, all of them actually requiring chips. So you see Nvidia, you see AMD, you see Micron, okay, all these different companies, they are actually manufacturing chips. They have to pump up their price because the demand is so high, but the supply is actually being capped. Okay, I think that definitely was one of the huge things that actually affected market to a certain extent. So I think they're definitely worthy of a spot on this top 10. Okay, now for number 7. Okay, personally, I think this actually affected me more than a lot of other people who are just normal investors. But I do think that this is also a pretty big deal. Okay, which is advertisers' destruction from Apple. Okay, so if you don't know about this, Apple actually went ahead with their whole privacy policy change in order for them to actually give the rights of privacy back to the consumer by allowing them to choose what kind of ads they actually want to see. In change, that basically destroyed the whole entire advertising platforms. So it doesn't matter if you're from Meta, if you invested in Meta, if you invested in Google, you invested in Snapchat, you invested in Twitter, you invested in Pinterest, whatever social media platforms or advertising place that you invested in probably saw blood. Okay, they probably saw blood in 2022. Okay, it doesn't matter what company that you're in. Okay, all of them are getting destroyed from the advertising play point of view. And why I think this would actually be brought forward to 2023 to even more possible concerns is because we do not know how much more can Apple actually control this sort of ad policies. And there are a lot of companies that actually kind of single-handedly expect revenue from all this advertising and such. And of course, this advertising also come from bigger companies out there, which that's where their marketing budget usually goes to, and this can actually destroy various companies and such. So I do think that this is definitely going to be, in terms of order of magnitude, one that is very, very deserving of its place in the top 10. Alright, next up, we have to talk about a recent event, which is Elon Musk buying Twitter. Okay, so I think Elon Musk buying Twitter, I think this is relatively a big deal. Of course, a lot of people will probably think that, just a billionaire buying a company, there isn't really much to actually go on about it. But I do think that, for Elon Musk buying Twitter, not only do we have 20, 50, 100 articles on your Bloomberg, on your Wall Street Journal. Okay, shout out to Wall Street Journal for this epic shit. For all of this that they keep on coming in and talking about this whole entire Twitter purchase. It started off with a $69.20, $69.42 per share. Afterwards, it was bumped down to $54.20. After which, I think there were a lot of talks about how Elon wanted to step out from the deal. He just needed to pay $1 billion up front and he can get out of the deal scot-free. Yada yada, there's a lot of things that actually transpired, but end of the day, Elon Musk had to buy Twitter for $44 billion. So yeah, I do think that it is a relatively big deal, especially seeing how this has also sparked different things that actually happened, because this sparked the political debates with how Elon Musk is also taking over Twitter. Of course, this also spread down towards the financial markets, because ultimately Elon Musk is also the CEO of Tesla, and Tesla is not doing very, very well. So yeah, I do think that this Twitter purchase definitely put a wrench in a lot of plans throughout a lot of people's ideologies and such. But I think this Twitter purchase definitely earned its own spot in this top 10. Alright, now before I get to the top 5, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe down below, okay? Because I'm really, really stoked to be bringing out this sort of content to you guys. And of course, if you guys enjoy this sort of content, click like down below, and of course leave me down a comment section, okay, to just tell me what are your top 10s in 2022. Let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I don't know. Okay, but anyway, before we head on to the top 5, let's get some honorable mentions out of the way. Okay, El Salvador also did the whole Bitcoin gamble. Okay, I'm pretty sure that we all remember El Salvador being the first country to have Bitcoin as legal tender. Of course, as of now, we probably think that El Salvador's president is a stupid person to be gambling with the country's fund, to continuously buying into Bitcoin at $60,000, $50,000, $40,000, $30,000. Hey, but you do not know. Maybe in 10 years, Bitcoin actually goes up to $2 million per coin, and actually, we are the idiots that are actually making fun of El Salvador today. Okay, next up we have Queen Elizabeth passing away. Afterwards, we actually got Liz Truss becoming the United Kingdom Prime Minister for a week. Same thing, I think that these are just honorable mentions. A little bit of something that is sad that happened, and also at the same time a little bit of something funny that happened with Liz Truss. Okay, and finally for the honorable mention is also Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan. I'll actually talk more about it because this might actually show up in one of the top fives. But yeah, Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan even after the fact that China gave multiple warning to United States to tell Nancy Pelosi, or telling Biden administration in general, to not send any of your higher ranking officials over to Taiwan. They do not want to have any sort of political agendas if they actually head over to Taiwan. Needless to say, Biden administration did send Nancy Pelosi, which is a relatively high, I think Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, so a high-ranking official did actually head over to Taiwan. It was a big news back then because this was possibly, well, we're kind of possibly on the edge of another war of such. So yeah. Something that I wanted to put into the honorable mention because there's going to be something worse later on. Alright, now let's go to number 5. Alright, let's talk about Omicron. Okay, I'm pretty sure that Omicron was something that happened in the late 2021, but over in 2022, even in the first 2 weeks or so, I think Omicron was still raging quite widely across. It was widely spread in America. Of course, right now, I think that there's nothing much to really worry about Omicron, to say the least. But at the same time, let's be honest, hindsight is 2020. We were not expecting Omicron to, well, this whole entire pandemic to be so hard to actually tide by. So I think that, thankfully, Omicron is behind us now, and surprisingly, it was actually in this year as well, and Omicron was one of the biggest reason why we had all the supply chain issues as well. So I do think that Omicron will definitely have to make into this list no matter what. Which this ties neatly into number 4. We talk about zero COVID policy, China. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that we already know by now, but right now I think China has already released the borders for the zero COVID policy. They're actually easing a lot of the policies on it. But right now I do think that China is kind of, I would say, inefficient to some extent, because they kind of release it in two different spectrum. They have this spectrum where they are like saying, we will not allow anyone with COVID in our country. If anyone were to have COVID, we're gonna lock down the entire country. And then on the other spectrum, they have like, you know what? Okay, we are all sick of locking downs. So how about this? We're just gonna open up the whole entire country to everyone, and then they just have 1 million cases a day. Okay, so there's no nice flow chart for this. You just have two different spectrum of it, which is pretty horrible for people. But hey, at least the Chinese citizen actually got their freedom back. So, good for you guys who actually got your freedom back. But of course, according to one of the Bloomberg report, was that a plane from China to Italy had a 50% positive COVID results on the plane. So, yeah, I'm not sure if this might be the start of something even worse. Hopefully not. Hopefully this zero COVID policy did not bring us more bad news to go on in 2023. Alright, so anyway, now with number 4 out of the way, we are left with the top 3 events that actually happened. Okay, so number 3 is none other than the FTX. And not only for FTX, okay? It's also your FTX, it's also your Luna, it's also your Voyager, your 3AC, your Blockfi, all these different crypto exchanges, crypto firms, crypto hedge funds, all of them crashed. And yeah, okay. So let's talk about FTX last, simply because it was a more recent event with how Sam Bankman-Fried just was put on bail in the United States. Luna, let's talk about Luna. Terra Luna, predominantly their operations was actually mainly done in Singapore because the creator he's actually Korean, and he was situated in Singapore. So I think a lot of the operation was based in Singapore. And during that time, we also had the whole entire Anchor protocol, where you're able to get about 20% return year over year. I know of a lot of people who invested heavily into Terra Luna, and when Terra Luna went to basically zero, a lot of people lost life savings, people lost their houses, people lost their mortgages and things. It was horrible, and it's quite sad to see for Terra Luna on its own. And then if you actually just put it on top of the fact that you just look at Voyager, 3AC, Blockfi, all these different exchanges and such, you start to realize that cryptocurrency, or the whole entire crypto industry as a whole, is just very, very young at the moment. Okay, it's very, very immature. We still need time for it to properly mature before you can get into all these different companies. Just think of it this way. Okay, back in the .com crash, you have a lot of good companies that you probably thought were good companies in the 1990s. But in 2000, in the year 2001, you realize that all of them went to zero, and then you think, oh, okay, maybe not all tech companies were investable. Okay, it's the same thing now. Okay, not only for crypto exchanges, you also look at crypto coins, you also look at different NFT projects and things like that. You might want to put money into it, and then you might think, oh, I want to make money today. Okay, but let's be honest, the whole entire crypto boom only happened from 2020 to 2022. Okay, that's the actual boom period, and because of that, we did not really see much of a result from what it can actually provide, additional value to the economy, to people, and things like that. So I think it's still, it needs time to mature, definitely. And that's why I think probably maybe in another 10 more years, then we can actually see who are the actual winners in the entire crypto sphere. If you actually lost money in cryptocurrency, I feel sorry for you. But at the same time, I think that this is also a very, very good lesson for everyone who lost money to learn that cryptocurrency is really, as everyone said, a risky asset that you should only put 5 to 10% of your portfolio in. I think I've advocated for that for more than a year. I've been talking about it since 2021, and I said, don't put more than 10%, don't put more than 5%. Even if you're risky, don't go more than 15%, because that was what I did. I did 15% myself. And even then, it was also considered very, very risky as it is already. So, but yeah, of course, I'm not trying to be a crypto bear to tell you not to buy any sort of crypto whatsoever. Because at the same time, I do think that if you think that cryptocurrency would boom in the next year, hey, who am I to judge? Okay, just go crazy. But something that is definitely objectively right is getting any sort of crypto and keeping it into a cold wallet. Okay, do not keep it on exchanges. I think with the entirety that happened in the whole 2022, we already properly established that keeping your cryptocurrency on exchanges is going to kill you one day. Okay, keep your coins out of exchanges. Keep it in cold wallets, keep it in hot wallets, I don't care. Don't keep it in exchanges. Okay, now for number 2, we have to talk about inflation. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that if you watch a lot of my videos on my channel, you probably know of how much I talk about this. Inflation, okay? In the United States, the peak inflation was 9.1% year over year at one point. Okay, and if that is not scary enough, it's not only just the inflation that was actually scary to the whole entire economy, but it was because of what came after. Okay, which was the Federal Reserve coming in with a record rate hike in the last 40 years. This has not been done since 1980s, since we had the whole Paul Volcker era, where we saw the Federal Reserve chairman just destroy the whole entire economy in order to bring inflation down. Okay, we are finally seeing somewhat similar to what is happening right now again. Okay, and I think this is definitely worthy of number 2. Okay, if you're hearing every single month of CPI being horrible, you're hearing every month of consumer report being horrible, you're hearing PPI report being horrible, okay, you're getting bad news after bad news after bad news on inflation data. I think it's just pretty weak for the heart, especially for someone like me who has been reading all this thing diligently for the whole entire year. You know, it's crazy. I've read 12 CPI report this year. I've read 12 PCE report this year. I read 12 PPI report this year. And yeah, I mean, like, that's how you know inflation is bad. Okay, when you actually consistently read up all this report, you can see a trend of how bad it is in the United States. And with the record rate hike, we are possibly going to be seeing a recession in 2023. Okay, bankruptcy is going to be a norm in 2023 as well. So yeah, something that we definitely have to look out for. Alright, anyway, without further ado, my number 1, which I think a lot of people probably already know this, which is the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, of course, if we are talking about the order of magnitude, I don't think that we can compare the Russia-Ukraine war with inflation, because inflation is this small budding thing that continuously give you pain. But Russia-Ukraine war is this one event that happened and everyone got hurt. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that everyone know what happened for this 24th of February event in 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine. This not only created a war-torn scenario in just the Russia and Ukraine area, at the same time it also affected oil prices. Okay, which is why you probably saw oil prices, you know, per barrel went up all the way to $130 per barrel. Pretty insane. Seeing how we probably saw negative prices per barrel in 2020 during the whole pandemic period. So yeah, you can see it's a huge increase. Okay. Afterwards, you also saw commodities going crazy, okay, because alloys, aluminum, palladium, nickel, cobalt, all of this are actually commodities that are widely farmed by all these people in Ukraine and Russia. Okay, and because of this war-torn scenario, all these commodities were wiped off the market, causing all these commodities to actually skyrocket in price because demand did not wane. However, supply got bottle capped like crazy. So yeah, this definitely affected commodity prices to a whole new level. And let's not forget, political warfare was also very, very huge in 2022. Okay, with the whole entire Russia-Ukraine war, we finally see what would actually happen in a World War III scenario. Okay, we're not just doing physical war. Okay, we're going to go into internet war. Okay, they're going to be doing a lot of hacking. They're going to be going through a lot of political agendas through consumption of media. All these are attacks as well. Okay, and it's kind of interesting that, you know, in 2022, the war that we fought as compared to the 1800s is going to be a lot more different. Okay, and I think this is definitely easily my easiest pick to be top 1 of the order of magnitude for events that happened in 2022. And I think I don't really need to explain about this much. I think this is quite evident as it is. Even until today, the war has yet to end, even though it is happening at a slower rate, but it is still happening. They're still in war. No peace have actually been found. I think Kiev has been brought back to Ukraine's side after being liberated by the Russians. But yeah, you know, peace is not there just yet. Okay, but which is why war is a crazy thing, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite surprised that I'm gonna be seeing it in this lifetime. So yeah, I won't say interesting, but you know, this is just the world we live in. So yeah, 2022. A lot of horrible stuff happened. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of horrible stuff happened. 2022 was not a good year. Okay, easily, you know, you can even bring in some of the possible things such as like, oh, you know, we are actually in a textbook recession as well. You know, I really wanted to add that into my top 10, but I thought that, you know, since it's not exactly an official recession according to Jerome Powell, it's not an official recession according to Biden, so let's wait it out. Let's wait it out. Maybe in 2023, you know, maybe in 2023, they are going to officially say, okay, you know what? Yeah, we're actually in a recession. You know, we tried. No, we're in a recession. Yeah, so I think that's most likely what's going to be happening. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching till this far. It's about 25 minutes or so. Really appreciate you guys, and I hope that you guys watch it till this far. You know, and again, remember, please subscribe down below, okay? And I really appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you guys next year.